Have you ever heard of the position of Camerlengo? Although little known to the public, it has an essential function within the Catholic Church, especially during periods of papal transition. When a pope passes away or resigns, there is a period when the church is without a leader, the so-called sede vacante. And this is precisely where the Camerlengo comes in, the one responsible for administering the Vatican until a new pontiff is elected. Throughout history, this position has played a crucial role in decisive moments for the Church. From medieval times to the present day, the Camerlengo not only oversees the papal transition, but also manages the Holy See's assets and ensures that all rules are followed. But how did this role originate? Who were the most influential Camerlengos? And what is, in fact, their power within the structure of the Vatican? In this video, we will explore the origin, functions, and some remarkable stories of this important position, and understand why it remains essential in the Church. The role of Camerlengo dates back to the Middle Ages, a period when the administration of the Church's assets and the organization of the Roman Curia needed greater structuring. The word Camerlengo comes from the Latin camerlingus, meaning chamber official, reflecting its original role as the one responsible for the Pope's assets and finances. In the early centuries of Christianity, the administration of the Church's assets and patrimony was under the direct authority of the Pope and his close assistants. However, as the Church grew in influence and wealth, a specific position became necessary to oversee these matters. It was in the 11th century that the Camerlengo began to gain greater importance, being formally integrated into the Roman Curia. During the period of the Papal States, the Camerlengo was one of the most powerful figures in the Church's administration, as, in addition to managing the Holy See's assets, he also had political and fiscal responsibilities. However, this reality changed in 1870 when the Papal States were incorporated into the newly unified Kingdom of Italy. Without a territory of his own to administer, the Camerlengo began to focus exclusively on financial administration and responsibilities related to the papal transition. Throughout the centuries, various Camerlengos played fundamental roles in times of crisis, ensuring the Church's stability in moments of uncertainty. Today, his function remains essential, especially during the sede vacante, when the governance of the Church temporarily falls into his hands. The Camerlengo holds one of the most delicate functions within the Catholic Church, especially during the sede vacante period, when the Holy See is without a pope. His primary responsibility is to ensure that the Vatican's administration continues functioning until a new pontiff is elected. To do this, he follows a strict set of protocols defined by the Apostolic Constitution, Universi Dominici Gregis, promulgated by St. John Paul II in 1996. The first and most symbolic task of the Camerlengo occurs at the moment of the Pope's death. Following a centuries-old tradition, he must officially verify the pontiff's passing, a procedure that in the past included calling the Pope 3 times by name and tapping his forehead with a silver hammer. Today, this process is more formal and medical, but the Camerlengo still needs to make the official declaration of death. Once the vacancy of the Apostolic See is confirmed, he temporarily assumes the administration of the Vatican. Unlike what many think, he has no spiritual power or decision-making authority over church doctrine, but he controls the management of the Holy See. This includes overseeing the Vatican's financial assets, ensuring the security of papal documents, and coordinating the transition until the conclave. The Camerlengo must also seal the Pope's private quarters, preventing any interference before the arrival of the new pontiff. Additionally, he is the one who informs the College of Cardinals about the need to begin preparations for the election. During the sede vacante, he presides over daily meetings of the cardinals to ensure that all rules are strictly followed. Another fundamental role of the Camerlengo is to ensure the economic stability of the Holy See. During the period without a pope, he is responsible for the operation of the Vatican Bank and for maintaining the resources necessary for the administration of the Church. His duty is to prevent any financial disorder and ensure that the next pope receives a fully functioning Vatican. Throughout history, the figure of the Camerlengo has been involved in critical moments and even political disputes within the Church. In some cases, the papal transition was marked by internal tensions, and the Camerlengo had to act firmly to ensure that the succession proceeded smoothly. With so many responsibilities in such a delicate moment, the Camerlengo is undoubtedly one of the most important figures in the Vatican. Beyond his functions during the sede vacante, the Camerlengo is also the head of the Apostolic Chamber, one of the Church's oldest administrative bodies. In the past, this institution was responsible not only for managing the Holy See's finances, but also for administering the Papal States, which existed until the late 19th century. Although its functions have been reduced over time, the Apostolic Chamber still plays a crucial role in the Vatican's internal organization. The Camerlengo works with a group of assistants, including the Vice Camerlengo and other officials, who ensure that Vatican rules are followed during the period without a pope. During the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, this administrative structure was extremely powerful, even interfering directly in politics and the selection of the new pontiff. Some Camerlengos, due to their influence, were even elected popes. Throughout history, certain Camerlengos stood out for their actions in times of crisis. One of the most emblematic cases was that of Cardinal Eduardo Martinez Somalo, Camerlengo during the death of St. John Paul II in 2005. He was responsible for coordinating the transition until the election of Benedict XVI, ensuring that all norms were followed and organizing one of the most closely watched conclaves in the world. Another highly important Camerlengo was Cardinal Jean-Louis Tauran, who held the position between 2007 and 2018. He not only managed the Holy See during the pontificate of Benedict XVI, but also played a key role after the historic resignation of the Pope in 2013. During Tauran's tenure, the Church faced a sede vacante caused by resignation, something that had not happened for nearly 600 years. His responsibility was to ensure a smooth transition until the election of Pope Francis. There are also older moments in history when the position of Camerlengo was involved in power struggles. During the Western Schism in the 14th century, when there were multiple rival popes, some Camerlengos had to make difficult decisions about which line of succession to follow. In periods of invasions and external threats, such as during the Napoleonic Wars, the Camerlengo had to deal with extreme challenges, ensuring that the Church's administration continued to function even under persecution. In modern times, although his role has become more technical and procedural, the Camerlengo remains a fundamental figure for the stability of the Church. His actions ensure that even in moments of uncertainty, the papal transition happens with order and respect for the traditions of the Catholic Church. With this, it becomes clear that the Camerlengo is not just a temporary administrator, but a guardian of the Church's continuity. The position of Camerlengo may not be widely known to the public, but his role in the Catholic Church is essential. In such a delicate moment as the sede vacante, he is the main authority within the Vatican, coordinating the transition and preparing the way for the conclave. Whether in the past, when the Church faced political crises and invasions, or in modern times with the unexpected resignation of a pope, the Camerlengo has always been at the center of these historical moments. His presence symbolizes the continuity of the Church, reinforcing that, regardless of circumstances, the papal succession will follow its millennia-old tradition. If you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. What do you think about this important position? Were you already familiar with its functions? Share your opinions and keep following our videos on the history of the Catholic Church.